How? I wasn't ready. Put that on the gag reel.
What's up?
What's up, good people? David Taub here. Tim Gilberg's here.
Rock on.
NextLevelGuitar.com, and I want to talk to you a little bit about Slash style of guitar playing and show you a couple things that you might find very interesting. Inspired by, and a couple things that you could do gear-wise and lick-wise to maybe bring your playing a little closer to his tone. Although, as always, and I always say this a lot, I feel tone is really in your hands and in your heart, right? But there are certain things you can do to get closer. It's really about technique, how a certain guitar players bend in the strings, their vibrato, their attack, not necessarily a given guitar or a given amplifier. Slash can plug into any guitar, any amp, he's going to sound like Slash. Same thing like Eddie Van Halen will plug into any guitar, any amp, he's going to sound like Eddie Van Halen. Right? You don't believe that? Go to any music store and you play and plug into any guitar and any amp. As you go down the line, you're going to sound like you, right? Because it's all about technique. But that said, here's a few things you can do if you want to get that signature Slash tone or a little closer to it. The first thing is he likes the Les Paul style of guitar, the Gibson, and this is actually a Les Paul copy made by Epiphone, which is actually has a pretty good tone to it. It's like the mid-grade Epiphone. The thing I like about this guitar is the pickups are pretty hot and they sound pretty good. This is 11 gauge strings, so I'm getting a thick tone from them because the strings are pretty thick. The thing I like about this particular Epiphone is the pickups are really hot. They sound pretty good. I like them. So get yourself the Gibson Les Paul or Les Paul copy. For his lead tone, he uses this, sounds to me a lot of times he's on the neck pickup. If you don't know what pickup you're playing at, just tap on it with a pick. See how you hear the front pickup? More than the back? Playing out of the neck pickup, which is usually the rhythm pickup, or on these Les Paul, the switch is all the way up. If I put the switch all the way down, it's going to be both pickups. Here, both of them are on. Middle, I'm sorry. If I put the switch all the way down, you hear the back pickup. Middle is both pickups. There we go. Okay, so another thing I think to get a little closer to that Slash tone, and the tone I'm talking about is this. Right? I was just playing a little E minor scale there, or E Aeolian mode, but I have the tone knob off, and that gives me a little bit more of that. Now watch as I start to turn the tone on. Now here it is fully on. Hear the difference? Same lick, but rolling that tone back. So you should experiment with all your volume and tone controls and pickup selections on the. Just don't leave everything in one position all the time and every knob cranked up on 10.
I just put mine to 11.
Yeah, like Nigel, right? From Spinal Tap. So if you back that tone control off on this front pickup, neck pickup, you get that really. Hear that really kind of cool. You get that real cool sound. Now I'm playing just out of a little practice amp with the distortion cranked pretty high, a lot of gain, not all the way, running full throttle on the channel volume. And it's a pretty low volume though because you got to hear me talking over it. So it's not like I'm playing through a 100-watt Marshall, right? It's just a little practice amp with a 12-inch speaker. And you could get some cool tones. Something else I like he does is he uses that, like I was playing E Aeolian mode or E natural minor, E minor scale. He does something very cool a lot is he will interject the E harmonic minor scale or harmonic minor and mix it up with the minor scale and minor pentatonic. Harmonic minor is the basically is the natural minor scale, or aliemo with a raised seventh. It's only one note difference. But it gives you that real, very exotic sounding scale. It's a very exotic sounding scale. It sounds nice sometimes over minor seventh chords. You know? You know, and he'll throw that in there with some of his stuff too, that harmonic minor scale. And that's a... really kind of a cool thing. And the note, the real hip note, that raised seventh. Really. That note 1/2 step behind the root, that's the hip note there. And it's real almost Middle Eastern sounding or gypsy sounding. That harmonic minor scale is really cool, and I urge you to use it. It's very close to natural minor. It's only a 1/2 step. You just take the seventh instead of a flat seventh. You're playing a natural seventh. You're just raising it a 1/2 step.
What if the good people don't know that?
Go to our website at nextlevelguitar.com.
And David Taub will unleash the mysteries
of all scales.
Names.
Exactly. The other thing that I really like that he does, which is very signature, is the way he bends strings. And he'll do some really cool 1/2 step bends and whole step bends. And he's a ferocious player. He's probably one of the best rock guitar players, in my opinion, out there. Very ferocious. And there's something primitive about his playing. Even though he'll throw in an exotic scale, he uses minor pentatonic and blues a lot too. But the guy really knows what he's doing. And a lot of feeling and a lot of heart. One of the bends I did when I was playing around before was I did something like this. And that's, when you hear that, that's very signature slash. And what all I'm doing there is like I'm taking the note on the B string, like if we're in whatever, E minor, or E Aeolian. I'm taking this F sharp note and I'm bending it a 1/2 step. Now I'm on the B string. You could do this anywhere, whatever key you're in, especially if you're playing with the minor scale. It works nicely. Because the note I'd be playing would be this F sharp, then the G. So instead of playing the F sharp, then the G, I'm bending the F sharp to the G. So get that bend. You want to hold it. Now while you have that bend held, with your pinky, grab the D note. In this instance, I'm on the 10th fret on the high E string. See what I'm saying? And you get that sound. Now, wherever, you could do this in any key. You know what I'm saying? But it's that nice 1/2 step bend. Then you got to let the bend down slow. So it's bend up, 1/2 step. Grab that note with your pinky. Then strike the note that's... Now, I'm not letting that note down. That's the secret. Bend up. Strike the high E string note. Now, while the note is still bent, strike it again. And let it down. So you get almost like a reverse bend. So it kind of sounds like it's crying. That's called a reverse bend. And you could do a reverse bend with any bend. Here I'm bending a whole step from the from the A to the B. But instead of bending it from the A up, what if I start it already bent? And you get this. See, I'm reverse bending. I'm starting with a bent note, striking it, and then letting it back down to pitch. That's a cool thing to do, and you can do that with halves and wholes all over the neck.
The dry note.
Yeah, I can do that anywhere. Okay, so let me zoom in the camera and I'll show you that real trademark lick up close.